first thing. And then they will talk about, once you qualify there, then they're going to talk about your experience. But the first step always would be a coding test.
Yeah.
So you need to understand that you have, if you're looking for a machine learning data scientist or any profile, you need to have some coding experience. You need to practice. The other thing is, in data science and machine learning, definitely it is hard because there are profiles which are for people who are more experienced.
Yeah.
So they would be given more preference, definitely. But I would say start with the startup. It's not a problem. People think that, oh, I just want to go get into Google as a machine
Yeah.
learning engineer. Definitely, what you can do is do an internship, but it's only for people who are doing their undergrad. If you're doing a post graduation, I would say start with a startup. That's the place where you're going to learn a lot. That's the place you have to start from the scratch. So you're going to learn the most in a startup, and then you can work your way to XYZ, any company which is your dream company. Definitely there are jobs. The only thing is that right now the job market is a little packed because it's the end of the year.
Mm,
Even I'm
yeah.
not getting a lot of acceptance or any interviews. But definitely there are positions. If someone is graduating recently, apply for a graduate positions. They start in September and they hire 1 year in advance. So better you start applying early. And for a more experience, if you have more than 2 years experience, you can start applying on LinkedIn. Apply to, I think, a day, make a target of applying to 15 companies at
Yeah.
least. Apply to as many companies as you can, and then just study for your interview. The better you prepare for your interview, the more you work on your project, you are going to get it. There is, and also, well, I don't know why people do not maintain their GitHub profiles, but it is so
Yeah.
important to have a GitHub profile. And you need to work on it, add as many projects. Anything that you do in your masters, just add it. So that really helps as well. So I think it is tough, it is competitive, but definitely it's you who has to give an interview. It's you.
Yeah.
Just don't give up, try. And maybe if you're expecting to graduate in January or February or September, maybe you would not get in September, but definitely by October, you would have an offer. It would not be like just, out of college, you have an offer. Give yourself
Yeah.
some time, give yourself a cool down period, then apply. You would get it. That's one thing.
Great advice. I think you're like pretty experienced. Okay, so like basically, I just wanted to talk about like your journey and like how you made it to Queen Mary. I was looking you're pursuing MSc in Data Science, and I myself am
Mm-hmm.
pursuing data science from UCI, which is California
Mm-hmm.
Irvine. So I just wanted to talk about
Uh-huh.
your journey and how did you like approach and like that all stuff. So like it would be good if you can give an intro of yourself, like first of all.
Yeah. Sure. So I'm Nishka, and I am currently doing my master's at Queen Mary University of London, and I'm studying big data science over there. I'm almost at the end of the end of my course, so I
Yeah.
would be now looking for jobs. Recently did a part time as well as a machine learning engineer, and hopefully aspiring to become a machine learning engineer, like a full time position. Now your question, which is how did I just go by applying and the entire process? So I was earlier trying to apply to Germany because of, a lot of students in India want to go and study abroad, but
Yeah.
definitely not everyone has that much money
Yeah.
to afford the universities. So that's why the first thing I decided to do was apply to Germany because it's a full scholarship program. One of my friend recently got into Germany, and I think the fees is hardly 1 lakh for two
Yep.
years, so which is very cheap. Um, but due to COVID, I could not receive my mark sheet, which you have to mail them. So I could not apply there. The next, I decided to apply to few more countries because what people generally do is they just apply to few universities, which is like
Yeah.
they either go for like top universities like Georgia Tech or Stanford
Yeah.
or some like big universities, and do not really think about the other universities. Also, the other thing they don't realize is, the brand name. I know it is a brand name and it's important, but then you have to think about what course you want to do, what do you want to become, and they do not actually go through the course outlet, which is very important. So definitely something that I noticed and I figured out was read about the courses that different university offers. which is very important. So I compared 4 to 5 universities: the University of Birmingham, Manchester, Warwick, Lancaster, University of Bath, Durham, as well as Queen Mary. I think there was one, Royal Holloway, Holland, something
Yeah, yeah,
like that. So I noticed that in every university they have different courses for different, they could be machine learning or data science, but they have, or computer science, which has a specialization in machine learning. So what I decided, I got an offer from 2 to 3 universities, but definitely different courses. So at Birmingham, I got computer science. I applied one university is in Australia, which I got into computer science. But something I really did not want to do, because when I was going through, Birmingham is such a good
yeah,
university, Glasgow is such a good university, but then you have to go through every single courses that
yeah,
they
yeah.
offer. So I read about them. Okay, what do they offer? They offer, data science, and they have machine learning, they have deep learning, whereas Birmingham doesn't have that. They specialize, they teach Java, which is
Yeah.
not really machine learning. I would not be able to find the job that I'm looking for. So that's how I decided to go with Queen Mary, because the courses I really like and I wanted to do something in that.
So, like, what do you love most about the program? Like, for my program, if I talk about my perspective, I just like finished my first quarter and it's all statistics.
Mhm.
So, I don't like statistics that
Yeah.
much. Like, I can learn machine learning, I can learn big data, but
Mhm.
not static. Like, I'm not a big fan of them. So, like, what do you think of the
Uh-huh.
program? Like, after you finish the program, like, how was it, or like, how was the curriculum?
Yeah. So because I've done my undergrad in computer science in India,
Yeah, yeah,
so in India focuses a lot on the theory part, but
exactly.
we need to practice more. We need to work on projects. That's something no one realizes, that how important projects are in computer science or machine learning. So I think what Queen Mary focuses on is project based approach. They'll teach something, and their assignments are mini projects. So that's something I really like. They give, so I was doing machine learning as my subject, one of my subjects, and after teaching, the basics of what is supervised machine learning, what is regression, what is classification. After that, we were given a small exercise, or think about like computer vision as a subject. They were teaching us, basic image processing techniques in theory, but then they gave us a project, like a mini project, as an assignment, which says, do a classification on do a classification problem on 2 data set
Yeah,
using these architectures. So the more projects you do, they will give you a basic code that they provide, so that you can go through it. The rest part is you researching about it.
yep.
So that's something I really like, that they focus on projects. So I think per semester, we had 3 semesters, and per subject we had to do 4 to 5 projects, which is so good, because then you can get to know more about
Yep.
programming. And it's, I think you're doing your undergrad or masters.
Masters. Similarly, I
Your
did my
masters.
undergraduate in India, so like
Oh yeah.
uh, all
So
theory.
the project thing I really like, yeah, because they're
Yeah,
focusing on project. They don't want us to mug up a theory and
yep,
then just work on that, but they want us to understand how this is happening, how classification is being done, how regression, how to solve different types of problems. When you are actually running a program, you might face errors, how to solve them, because not everyone gets the same error. And that is something, you do a little bit of programming, and the majority of your part is debugging it. How
yeah.
to, you get one error, how to use, how to rephrase it, how to change that error, or how to solve actually the error. And I've also, while doing my part-time as a machine learning engineer, something that I've noticed was, we got so many errors, so many different problems that I did not get when I was working with a clean data set which university gives you.
Yeah,
Something that is a very good way to learn, which is working on your own data set, which is not clean. Scrape something, work on raw data set, and then build your way up on the project.
got it. Like I think it was a super program. Like just from your telling it. And like, I just wanted to ask, like, what do you think exactly is data science? Because a lot of people are confused. Like, some think of it as machine learning, some think of it like
Mhm.
statistics, some companies ask for big data. So, what, according to you,
Yeah.
like, is data science? So, like, what do you think of it?
So few of when I actually started my data science, like my masters, I noticed people from different backgrounds. So they're not from
Yeah,
computer science, they're from economics, they're from maths side, and they think that it's not some. They think that without programming, they can actually, do data science and it would be easy. But you need to understand that data science would require basic knowledge of, everything, just
yeah,
programming. You need to have basic Python programming language. You need to have a little bit of statistics, knowledge of statistics. You need to have a little bit knowledge of everything. So data science, I would say, is not very technical, definitely, the way software engineering profiles are,
yep,
and machine learnings are still very technical. But data science is more about visualization. How are you going to visualize? How are you going to manipulate your data? How are you going to clean your data? And also topics like, regression, when you're trying to predict
yep,
something, or you want to analyze something, you want to analyze a trend. That's where data science comes in, because I was actually trying to understand what is difference between, a data science profile and a machine learning profile. So the only difference is machine learning profile is more, building an architecture like
yep,
machine learning model, more on deep learning models, as well as how to implement them with the software engineering, tools that they have, using that, how to deploy it in the company. And that's what machine learning engineer are, which is you need to have a strong software engineering skills as well as machine learning skills. Because right now we have a lot of machine learning, positions, but what I feel in the coming future, a company would not hire, a specific machine learning programmers. They would be like, fine, you are machine learning programmers, but you need to have a basic software
yep,
engineering skills that you can build a machine learning model. Definitely, there's so many materials out there for
yeah.
classification. There's so many materials, but how are you going to deploy it with our system? That's something you need to learn. So definitely data science is a bit different in machine learning engineering, in the sense data science is a little less complicated, little less coding. So someone who's interested in statistics, someone who doesn't likes to code a lot but
Yeah.
still wants to be in that technical zone, can go for as a data scientist.
Got it. Like, superb explanation. I think you have a lot of experience in that. So, like, why did you choose UK for masters? Like, because like my thought process of going to the US was because I went to Berkeley summer school, and I like really enjoy the
Hmm.
culture there. So that's why I went to the
Yeah,
US again for pursuing masters. So that was my like
yeah.
thought process. So, what did
Hmm.
like? Why did you choose UK? Like, out of every other country in the world?
I want I wanted to go to US as well. I
Okay.
did a 8 weeks immersion program at US, and I really like the work culture. The people are very helpful. The professors were amazing.
Yeah.
The only reason why I did not prefer US over UK was, definitely there is a lot of scope, more scope than UK right now, I would say. But the only thing is that in US you have to spend a lot of money to
Yep.
get into a good university. You need to have a bank balance of like at least 40 lakhs, which
Yeah.
not a lot of people would have it. And when you convert an ROI, which is return of investment, like how much you are investing and how much you are getting in return, a lot of people cannot maybe afford it. Like my parents could not afford 50, 60 lakh rupees for my education. So that was something that I decided while staying in UK. Definitely I spent a little less, but that was the only thing that I noticed. Nothing else. I would have definitely preferred US, but the only thing I think I thought to applying to Germany and UK was Germany has free education, so you're
Yep.
not spending a lot, and UK as well has very not very less of fees and everything, but definitely it is a lot cheaper than US.
Yeah.
But yes, you need to, find you need to understand that how much you have to go out. If you go out every day and party, that definitely
Yeah.
would be expensive. But still, yes, I think UK is comparatively much more cheaper than US in that perspective. Like the fees is a little less because I think the course is just for 1 year. That's why. And a lot of Indians aspire to do their masters from outside of India. They want to go outside of India, and not a lot of people can afford it. So I
Yep.
think Germany and UK is a good way to start. And it's definitely something I want to tell everyone is don't see the brand. I know brand is important, but even if you're not from a good college, but if you know your skills, you know what you're doing, you have your projects, nothing can stop you from going
Yep.
into Google or Microsoft or Facebook. You can still make it. It's not just the brand name. So yeah.
Got it. Okay. So like how much is your monthly expenses like in the US, especially because I'm in California, it's a lot, like it's around $1,000 for just the rent. And that is when I'm
Mhm.
living with four people. So it comes around
Yeah.
200 and $2,500 per month, and which is like huge.
Yeah.
So like how much is a like
Mhm.
monthly expenses, like who want to study in the UK, they can get an idea about that.
Yeah. So if you are planning to go outskirts of, or like not, if you're not planning to study in London, then definitely it would be a lot cheaper, the
Okay.
monthly expenses and everything. But if you're living in London and you want to come to London to study, it would be expensive. Like think about you are going to spend at least 1 lakh on your basic, accommodation. It would go because right now, earlier I was staying in a student accommodation, and my friends and me both all were paying like 800 pounds, which is
Yeah.
around 80,000 rupees. And
Oh,
think about it, if you can, yeah, if you can um, adjust in a smaller, if you don't want to party a lot, if you're
yeah.
if you're not like someone who wants to go out, eat out, drink, party, and then you can actually save a lot. There are definitely ways to save money and stay under budget. But I currently am living in a shared flat now, which is much more cheaper than a student accommodation. So
Okay.
definitely you can stay it. I would prefer not staying in a student accommodation, but find a cheaper option as shared flat. So I share flat with 3 people, and my rent is 650 pounds, which is still cheaper than
Yeah.
eight
Yeah.
hundred pounds. You can also find more cheaper flats for like 400, 500 pounds. It would not be very fancy, but you have to work with what you got.
Yeah.
Also, there are definitely a lot of part-time opportunities. They are just get your NI number and you can, start working, and it gives you a basic minimum wage from which you can, you can take out your daily expenses, which is eating out and things like that, groceries and
Got it.
everything.
Got it. So like shifting back to data science. So like if anyone wants to get into like Queen Mary, so like how much like profile do they need to have? Like is there any minimum work experience required, or like a GRE, GMAT, or any other thing?
So you need to have 70% and above in your undergrad. That's
Okay.
like a must. That's something that I looked forward to while applying to a university, because I don't want people who are like not receiving like good marks and still there
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
have a work experience or something like that. So 70% and above you need to have. Also, you need to have, I've seen people who doesn't have an internship experience. They are just out of their college,
Freshers.
so
Yeah.
they don't care. Yeah, they don't. Sorry, your undergrad. They don't really care that if you have done a lot of internship or anything. But definitely, if you have internship experience, I would say gain as much as internship experience that you can. Try from third year, fourth year, do in a small startup, but have some kind of internship experience because it adds up when you're
Yep.
applying for your master. After your master, when you're applying for a job, it counts. So
Yep.
have your internships definitely. It is not necessary for your masters, but after your masters it would be very helpful. Other than that, your marks should be good. You should have at least in maths, and you need to have good grades in maths as well as basic software engineering and basic. If you have a minor specialization, I in my undergrad had a minor specialization in machine learning, but it's better if you don't have it, then it's better if you just can have a good score, like at least B. Don't have a grade
Yeah.
of C or
Yeah.
D. At least if you have it, try to put your grades of, some a higher grade show reflected up on the top rather than on somewhere in the middle. But definitely they consider maths a lot for data science, because
Yep.
data science is all about statistics, mathematics. So that's something you need to have a good grasp in. um, Other than that, nothing specific. Just, yeah, no, I've noticed people these days ask their agents to write their
Yeah. Yeah.
SOPs, which I am extremely against it. I'm like, someone cannot tell the life story about yourself,
Yep.
the way, because they care about the money. Really, they don't care anything about your life. If you don't get selected, you are not. They don't care. So
Yep.
it's better that write your own SOPs. That's very important, because you want to reflect. You want to get into a university, so you need to explain. And SOPs are very important. You need to write a strong SOP. Research articles, as many SOPs you can read, just to get, okay. If you read 15 to 20 SOPs, you're kind of getting a gist of, okay, how to write it. Sit for a few weeks, few days, write your SOP, ask someone to proofread it for you, and then you can go. LORs are very important as well. So you need to have at least 2 to 3 LORs. So two can be academic, one can be industrial. So having an industrial LOR does matter a lot, because somewhere in the industry is vouching you that you can work as a team player and everything. So it's also very important. So these are the basic thing. I think this is common for all universities
Yep.
wherever you apply.
So like, how is the job market in UK? So I noticed on your LinkedIn that you worked as an ML engineer. So like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Like, did you just apply, or did you know someone in the company who could refer you? So how did you approach
Uh,
the job? Like,
so I actually started applying very early. The day I came in, I started applying to various universities and everything. And after applying to various job companies via LinkedIn. So I think LinkedIn is a very good way to apply for a new position. Plus, one thing, please update your LinkedIn. That's
yeah.
something people don't do. Add as much content you can, whatever you have did, just add it, because for a recruiter, when I look at your LinkedIn, I should get a gist of who you are, rather than,
Yep.
I've seen people just copy pasting. I am a good team player. I work hard. I am good with technologies.
Yep.
That's something you don't want to know, because fine, that's something I can read everywhere else, but who you are as a person is what I want to know. And just apply via LinkedIn. Definitely got more than 50, 60 rejections, and I think that's a part of life. You have to accept that, not every company would accept you, especially when you're starting out. um, because you don't have an experience or something. So I think rejection was a part of life. I was super depressed at that time, that I'm not getting a
Yeah.
job, I'm not getting anything, and it's just depressing. But have faith in yourself, apply to as much companies you can, give as many interviews you can, because it's a learning process. You might mess up one interview, so you can just know that what you did wrong in the last one, you can make it work the next time. So that's how you work. And I just applied via LinkedIn. I got a call from this startup, and they were looking for a part-time machine learning engineer. It was hectic, I would be
Okay.
very honest. You need to have this sense of time management. But even if you don't have, you just learn all the way through, because I remember it was super hectic. I was just sleeping 5 to 6 hours a day, because 5 hours a day, because you can't just leave your work as well, because
Yeah.
you have commitments in both ways. You can't leave your education, you can't leave your work.
Yeah.
But definitely my second semester was a little shorter, but it was hectic. So I decided to do in my part-time during that time. Choose a time where which is not very hectic for you, because that is the time you can commit to the company as well. And you need to
Okay.
be ready for the fact that it you are studying in your university as well, and you have to do a lot of studying in the job as well, because you would not know how to build a model. You will have to study
Yep.
how do you build a model. So that's something I did. I have to study a lot during that time. It was hectic, But then, once you're done with everything, you just kind of feel like, okay, fine, I've achieved something. And it's definitely is a learning process. So just apply, give as many interviews you can. Before interviews, read about the company, what they do, what they're expecting out of you, what are they working on. So yeah, that's it.
That's pretty good. Like rejections you're talking about, like in the US when I'm applying for internships. So we get like 10 to 11 like per day, which I'm telling you right now. So
Yeah,
I've already exceeded your
exactly.
mark of rejections.
Yes.
Like today morning, I got like 4 rejections. So it's the same thing like everywhere. So yeah. So how do you handle
Yes,
with the
it's a
rejections? Like,
part of life, actually. Sorry, continue.
so how do you handle rejections? Like a lot of people like get demotivated about that, like myself too, but I like keep going
Yes.
and keep going. So like, what's your mindset about that?
So definitely that you would get rejected and you would feel low about
Yep.
yourself, that, oh my God, you're not doing. And I think social media is a place, even LinkedIn or be it Instagram, anywhere, you see people are excelling. So as soon as I get a rejection and I open LinkedIn and I see someone has got into
Someone is
Facebook, Microsoft,
Google, yeah.
Adobe, you just feel so bad about yourself that you don't know, you are dumb, you can't do it. But
Yep.
think about it, that they have been in the same position at some point of their life. They might have got rejections from so many companies, and the only thing they did was trying. And definitely there is something that you missed while, you know during the preparation time. Definitely, if someone is getting into Google, why are they getting and why are you not getting? You need to
Yep.
understand that, there is something that they are doing a little more than you are. So you need to push yourself. Definitely, what I do when I get a rejection, I remember I went to the last stage of a company and then someone rejected me, and that's like
Oh,
very heartbroken, that, oh no, I almost did like the last
yeah.
stage. And I was pretty upset, but then just take some time off, go for a walk, have, like, just let it out, go party, maybe relax, eat outside, eat. I love eating food, so I just go, had my favorite meal of the day, and went for a walk, had ice cream, and then I was like, fine, next day I'm gonna work harder and I'm gonna reapply to other companies, because at the end of the day you're going to be rejected 400, 300, 400 times, and then maybe
Yep.
one company would give you an offer. So it's really, and also what I think when I get rejected is that, okay, there is something much better than this thing which is
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
store for me, that maybe if I would have gotten this one, I would have not got something which I was deserving. So maybe if
Yeah.
I got rejected in, XYZ company, maybe some other companies is looking forward to review my application. I might be, if I would have taken this offer, I would have never gone to the best ones. So think like that. So that actually helps you a lot, that fine, something good is in store for me. It's okay.
Okay. So I also noticed that you're like looking for like open to work right now, and you are like looking for jobs. So like,
Yeah.
how is the job market in UK? Because a lot of news was coming, like top graduates from like UCL, King's College London, they are not getting any jobs and that also. So like, how is the job market? Like, is there any like this process happening? Like people are not getting jobs?
It's competitive,
Yeah.
definitely, because depending on which field you are talking about. So if you're talking about computer science, there are a lot of jobs in software engineering, a
Yeah.
lot of jobs in software engineering. So if you want to do software engineering, you have a lot of opportunities, you have a lot of graduate roles. Um, the the thing I've noticed why people do not qualify or do not get rounds in the software engineering position is because they do not practice coding a lot.
Yeah.
Even I have not practiced coding in a long time, because while you are studying your master in machine learning, you really don't code that much, like
Yeah.
competitive coding you don't do. But
Specifically
that's
data
something
structures
market.
and algorithms. Like I hate them.
Yes,
So
you don't
yeah.
do it. Yes, but you have to, because every company has a very
Yep.
basic, procedure. They
Yep.
would give you a coding test for the first thing, and then they will talk about, once you qualify there, then they're going to talk about your experience. But the first step always would be a coding test.
Yeah.
So you need to understand that you have, if you're looking for a machine learning data scientist or any profile, you need to have some coding experience, you need to practice. The other thing is, in data science and machine learning, definitely it is hard because there are profiles which are for people who are more experienced.
Yeah.
So they would be given more preference, definitely. But I would say start with the startup. It's not a problem. People think that, oh, I just want to go get into Google as a machine
Yeah.
learning engineer. Definitely, what you can do is do an internship, but it's only for people who are doing their undergrad. If you're doing a post graduation, I would say start with a startup. That's the place where you're going to learn a lot. That's the place you have to start from the scratch. So you're going to learn the most in a startup, and then you can work your way to XYZ, any company which is your dream company. Definitely there are jobs. The only thing is that right now the job market is a little packed because it's the end of the year. Even I'm
Yeah.
not getting a lot of acceptance or any interviews, but definitely there are positions. If someone is graduating recently, apply for a graduate positions. They start in September and they hire 1 year in advance. So better you start applying early. And for a more experience, if you have more than 2 years experience, you can start applying on LinkedIn. Apply to, I think, a day, make a target of applying to 15 companies at
Yeah.
least. Apply to as many companies as you can, and then just study for your interview. The better you prepare for your interview, the more you work on your project, you are going to get it. There is, and also, well, I don't know why people do not maintain their GitHub profiles, but it is so
Yeah.
important to have a GitHub profile. And you need to work on it, add as many projects. Anything that you do in your masters, just add it. So that really helps as well. So I think it is tough, it is competitive, but definitely it's you who has to give an interview. It's you.
Yeah.
Just don't give up, try. And maybe if you're expecting to graduate in January or February or September, maybe you would not get in September, but definitely by October, you would have an offer. It would not be like just, out of college, you have an offer. Give yourself
Yeah.
some time, give yourself a cool down period, then apply. You would get it. That's one thing.
Great advice. I think you're like pretty experienced with this stuff. So I think you can be a
I've got
motivational speaker
so
if you
many.
want to.
Sorry?
You can be a motivational speaker if you want to, like the way you're talking right
Yes,
now.
I would love to. I would love to because I've noticed while growing up, I've had this issue. I did not want to be an engineer in the first place. My parents, all Indian parents have this mentality, you have to
Engineers
do
and doctors.
engineering or doctor. Yes. So I had
Yep.
to, and I was never this very in like I was never very studious. And when I went to Georgia Tech for my immersion
Yeah.
programs, and it was such an enriching experience because you talk, you are with people who work, who thinks about the practicality and not the
Yeah.
theory of
Yeah.
everything. And I really liked, I enjoyed. And then because I did not had a mentor, and I felt so irritated because there are so many people who explains, this is something that you can do. There are so many Google developer groups and
Yeah.
groups,
Yeah.
this group or that group. When you have so many like abundance of these resources, the issue comes is, which one to follow, what to do, as well as, they tell you that this is the resource you have to do, this is something that you have to do, but how to, the resources are there, everything is, but how, what is the roadmap that you have to follow? That is something which is still missing. You do your masters, you do these courses, you're going to get a job. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's like you do your masters, you do courses, you do projects, then you apply, you get thousands and thousands and thousands of rejections, still keep up the hope, apply in advance. These are something I did not
Yep.
know. And I got to know by a few of my senior colleagues. I had a conversation with them, and they kind of told me there is this website called mentoring.com something,
Yeah. I've heard
and
it.
you
Yeah.
can find, yeah, and you can find a lot of mentors as well over there who can, help you, guide you to the process. And networking is very important these days. Go to events, go to technical events, talk to as many people as you can, because it's just a way to other people and people in the company get to know you a little better.
Yeah.
And make a relationship in a way that, okay, if I get your resume, I know this person, I've met them, and I
Yeah.
would go through the profile, they would know you. So definitely something, I want this word to be out because I had done a lot of research, and I would love that I can help anyone if possible in that way.
Great. It's like, what are your future goals like right now? It's like to be a ML engineer
Um,
here,
I'm
or like go to India and then work there.
I want to gain some experience here because I have taken a big loan. I have to
Yeah.
repay it. So definitely, I want to go back to India after a few years because I think India has a lot of potential now. Companies like Microsoft, Adobe, Google, Amazon are opening in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and everywhere in India. I think India would be the next USA in
Yeah.
technological field because everyone is shifting there. um, all the great minds are there right now. So I think that I would be shifting back to India, but after a couple of years I've saved some money. I've repaid my loan because it's easier to repay loan over here in this currency.
Yeah. Yeah.
So couple of years working here, if I get a machine learning engineer position, that would be great. But be open to any position, be a software engineering, data scientist, anything. I'm open to that. And yeah, the main goal is to be a machine learning engineer.
Great. Like same for me. Like I want to be a data scientist or a machine learning engineer, and like similar
Hmm.
passion like as you. So hopefully we'll find a job.
Yeah, we would. Don't worry, it's fine. There
So
would
like
be rejections. I think that's like a part of life, that how you're going to handle rejections and
yeah.
how you need to cope up with that. That's like, even if you're like 40 years of experience, still people would be getting
Yeah.
rejections at that time. So
So like any last tips
yeah.
for like students coming to the UK, like who wants to pursue masters in the UK? So any tips for them?
Yes, for people, do your own task. That's very important. I've seen people, I've seen my colleagues as well. We copy paste a lot of codes,
Yeah.
from peers. Don't
Yeah.
do that. I mean, it's not something that you will get caught or something. It's only because of, I would say it's better if you do it yourself, so that when you are in the interview, you can't copy someone's answer. You
Yep.
need to remember from the experience. And in UK, interviewers won't ask you direct question like, okay, what does this do? They'll be like, tell me about experience when you tell me about a time when you felt experienced this. And if you have not gone through the entire process of finding something, coding, getting an error, you will not be able to answer those questions. So definitely I would say, don't copy, don't slack. It's just like in UK, it's masters just for 1 year. Sit down, work hard. Part-time is important, but think about it that you're here for what courses you are here for. Once you got a job, you can actually repay all your loans. You don't need to be like, oh, I need to do a part-time.
Yeah.
And because I've seen a lot of people, because of the part-time, they stop work studying.
Yeah.
Like, they're
Yeah.
like, I need to earn money and I need to repay my rents. Don't do that, because at the end of the day, it would be you who would have a longer time finding a job, because you have not prepared well. You might get more rejections. So I would say, just um, be responsible enough to study hard, don't copy, do whatever you want to do, believe in yourself. You might get rejections. And definitely, I think this is something that every student who's outside feels, this, that you feel homesick. Definitely make
Exactly.
friends.
Yeah.
Spend some time, make friends. And while you are actually studying, definitely go out and have some time to relax and everything. So yeah.
Great. So like one last question, like do you feel homesick? Because a lot of people do.
Yes, everyone. I think in people who are in India think that, oh, it is so cool that you're
Yeah.
studying in US, you're studying in UK. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not always the shiny thing that you see.
Yeah.
That's just on the film that we show. It's nothing like that. Because most of the time when we are sitting, we are in India, the culture is that you sit at home with your friends,
Yeah.
either to eat your suppers or with your family. That's not what you're going to feel here. That's very alone. In the evening, because of the time zone, you would
Yeah.
feel that in the evening, I don't have someone to talk to. I want to
Yeah.
call my parents, I can't call them. So definitely, I feel homesick, and I think there is no one who doesn't feel homesick
Yeah.
who's outside. That's like a part that you have to go through, and I think everyone has felt this thing at one time of their life. But if you study, you make friends, you hang out with them, I think just helps you a little bit. Go out, Um, but yeah, but definitely, it's very depressing sometimes that you're far away from home, especially during Christmas and New Year's. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Whew, great.
but
So I just wanted to say like thank you for your time today, and I just like started my podcasting journey, and like you're the first one who
hmm.
I interviewed right now without knowing
Oh
how
wow.
Zoom works. So
No, 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 that's fine. I mean, you asked like very professional questions. Okay, how was the experience? I've seen these kind of podcasts, like, on YouTube and everything. Not
yeah.
podcasts, but on YouTube videos. But you did it very nicely. Don't worry.
So like thank you for your time today, and yeah. Uh, Anything you want to say, and like we'll keep in touch definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Let me know if you get a job. Just let me know when do you get the
Sure.
job, because we're in the same field. Let me know,
Yeah,
and congratulations if you're starting. Share me the link of your podcast so I'll have a listen to it as well.
sure. Thank you for your time today, Nishka.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.